Sensational.
And subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe.
I think it's so interesting when, as of late, you've been seeing or hearing men, complain, or they don't necessarily have the best view or experiences dating single mothers, right? And then a lot of times you'll have the women, counteract, and they'll say, well, how can you feel this way about single mothers when your mom was a single mom, right? That's typically the rebuttal. And in most cases, yes, a lot of us came from, single parent homes. But here's the thing, that's why I speak the way that I do, because I'd like to try to provide not only a man and woman perspective, or just kind of offer, I understand both sides to a degree. But then I think the side that gets neglected is the child's view, right? And I think we need to take that more into consideration. Y'all don't like what men have to say. And even if they had a single mother, that's the thing, they experienced it. They know what it's like growing up in a single parent home. They know what it's like growing up without a dad. Even, women, if you had a single mother, you know what it's like to grow up without having that father figure there full time. So again, why y'all want them to respect that position, but they looked at their mom probably struggle because she had to do it by herself, which she shouldn't have had to, but she did. And he realized he didn't want that. Some actually had, toxic moms where they didn't operate or they didn't act the way that they should have, right? As a single parent. That's a thing. I don't know why women think that every single mother is just this immaculate mom. And that's not always the case. So if a man, even though he might have had a single mother and he's adamant about not dating single women, it's because he's had that experience from a child point of view. I've even had that experience. And, one thing that I was adamant about was breaking that, some would call it a curse, breaking that generational curse. I wanted to be able to offer my kids, a two-parent household, right? I wanted to have my kids by a man that wanted me to have his kids, that's proud to have kids by me. And so that's, how I move. So I don't understand why women think that men should have this utmost respect for single mothers, when really that is probably not the most conducive situation to bring a child in. No child would typically choose a single parent, only one parent to depend on, okay? And even as adults, we can agree that two is better than one, okay? So again, y'all want men to show more respect to single mothers in the cases where their moms were single moms. But again, because they had single mothers, they realized what they didn't want to deal with, and they realized what comes with that, because they were that child. And women got to start paying attention. That's why I'm like, women get so caught up in their individual choices and their individual happiness and their individual needs, and they're making these decisions based on themselves, that the children, again, their feelings don't get taken into consideration. So they grow up, realizing, well, at least some of us, realizing that ain't what they want. They don't want to deal anything, they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to create broken homes, and they don't want to deal with somebody that has a pre-made family. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's women that don't want to deal with single fathers either. It's a lot that comes with that at times. And then this is what the kicker is. There's a lot that comes with it if you have single mothers who don't even want to deal with men who have kids. Imagine that. So as a single mother, you don't want to deal, and this is I've seen some women say this, you don't want to deal with a man that already has kids. Why? If men are supposed to respect that role and that position, why wouldn't you want to deal with that? Why would you request a man without kids if that position is just great? That's the sought after position. Y'all got to keep that in mind. That's how, like, y'all just be saying anything. And this is how I know women talk a lot out of their emotions and not logically. Stop expecting these men to respect, single motherhood if they didn't have the best example or experience from it. Nobody essentially as a child wants to grow up with just one parent in the household. I don't know when we thought that was, normal. But yeah, typically, no, kids understand that they're supposed to have two, not one. And some have actually tried to give single mothers a chance, and they didn't have the best experience in that regard. So we have to take into consideration, like, a lot of times these men that are willing to try to take on being a step parent are typically not respected, right? You all are going to put your children, above that man, which, we understand, but that impacts, that situation. So it's a lot that comes with that. And a lot of times when men say that, they're a little bit scarred from dealing with single mothers.
There's no fight for the women, for the brothers that a lot of these young ladies are saying they want. They're not willing to fight for him. The young white girls on those campuses are. The young black girls are saying, I'm not fighting for him. If he want me, he'll come to me. While the young white girls are saying, well, I'll go to him then. If you don't want him, I'll get him. So that's the thing. There's black girls on those at those PWIs. There's black women there. But they are fight for him.
Men having a fear of commitment. Sometimes we got to be honest. It's not a fear of commitment. It's that you're not really into that woman like that. Because you'll see situations where a man could even be in a relationship with one woman 5 years, talking about, I don't believe in marriage. Finally, they break up. 6 months later, he's engaged to somebody else. It's the fact that he did not really feel she was the one. But unfortunately, a lot of men rationalize why they still should be with this woman, give it a try, or she possesses things that he could use in the moment, so he holds on to that. Now, also, the fear of breaking up or walking away is also because men tend to have less of a support system outside their relationships. Like, women more likely have friends, have family. I speak to a lot of men who feel like, I can't leave her because I got no one else. And so they feel, I hate to use the word trapped, but they just don't feel like they can go anywhere else, but it doesn't get talked about a lot. So you'll see a lot of men who, and then if we're talking about marriage, there's the whole fear of splitting half the money, all this stuff. Even though you got some dudes who ain't even got money, worried about losing half the money. I'm about to say, so what's 17 divided by 2? But it's a conversation that happens over and over and over again. All that to say, I think a man has to be honest with himself about, one, do you want something serious in your life? Do you want a committed relationship? If this woman is not really it, don't waste her time. Don't waste her time. Don't waste your time.
When men tell us what they like, why don't we listen? Like, if you are actively looking for a man, you actively want to be in a relationship, you actively want to be married, and men are out here saying, we like this, we don't like that, we like this, but we don't like that. We then as women say, I don't care what men think. How does that make sense? Like, why are we so defiant when it comes to, a man finding his wife? He has to find a woman who is willing to listen to what he likes and what he doesn't like. I just find it so interesting because there are a lot of women out here who are in their 30s and they're counting their biological clock and they're, worried about will they ever find a husband, would they ever become a mother. And sometimes it might sit down and boil down to just saying, men are saying what they like and you are just defiant and you don't want to hear it. So you might continue to be in the place of your singleness, your single season, because you refuse to just not want to make some changes. Like, it's not that difficult, but again, let a man tell you what he wants or what he doesn't want, or how he, what he thinks women can do, especially a black man. Telling a black woman what to do, we fight tooth and nail, and that is a thing that just holds us back, to me, to be quite honest.
The show goes on!
Queer.
Bye, Felicia.
Be the best you can be. Love your family, love your friends. Spread love, not violence, not this virus. As always, peace.